Let's get it. It is another absolutely gorgeous day here in the Carolinas. And family, I'm so glad to see it. Praise the Most High. So glad to be in the land of the living once again. Giving honor and praise to our Most High. And reaching out to our brothers and sisters. And that takes me round into my thought for today. But first, let me say I hope everyone is well today. And that you're able to get out and enjoy this beautiful day that the Most High has made in order for us to rejoice in and be glad, finding our very being in Him. And see, this is a daily affair, family. And it has to become a daily affair that we're being vessels of honor. And what I mean by that, the text says in a house, which we understand that house he's speaking of is the earth, there are many vessels, some vessels to honor and some vessels to dishonor. And those dishonorable vessels are like our little styrofoam plates and styrofoam or plastic cups. They're only for one-time use. Oh boy. You might be saying, Robert, what you talking about? What you getting to? See, there's vessels of honor. Some of them are made out of gold and silver, china, you know, the ones you set out for special company. But some of them are only used for like an old cookout party. When you invite the old family and friends, folks that really ain't that impotent, as we would say. And it should be the other way around, right? But the whole point of today's idea is we need to be used by the Most High as a vessel of honor. Vessel of honor. Gaining wisdom, knowledge, and understanding into our Ruach and sharing it with the world. And this must become a continuous cycle. As we gain truth, we share it. As we gain knowledge, we share it. As we gain wisdom, we share it. And we can't just talk about it. And that puts me in mind, I'm going to share a testimony. I was out doing my recording, I think it was Friday, pre-Shabbat day. And I ran into a young man out there crying the blues. And I think I shared that in my prior recording. He was upset because he's just fresh out of prison. Just did a 10-year bid. And he's come out with that mentality of people first. God, work out for your people. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, I'm good.
You too, be safe. And family, I was here at the Walmart picking up an adapter for my phone. But praise the Most High. Yeah, and this young man, Gary, he's, like I said, he's fresh out of prison. Just did a 10-year bid. And he's speaking the language that I was speaking for selling dope and getting caught up. But see, the whole point of and the difference between me and Mr. Gary is I didn't get that big long sentence that I was supposed to have gotten. Instead of that 10, I played out to a 3. Since this was my first charge, first time getting in trouble. So, with that being said, I had no issue helping my brother. I mean, see, that's how the Most High does you. He'll parallel you with the individual that's just like yourself. Oh boy. to see what you're gonna do. And just like I was telling him, a lot of times to see if you're gonna practice what you preach. Uh-oh. Robert, why you gotta go there? Are you just good talking about it on these recordings? Or when the actual rubber meets the road, are you gonna sit there and spin your wheels? Or are you gonna help your brothers and sisters? I mean, truly help them like they need to be helped. Not just throwing a little change in their face and saying, get on gone. I hope you get it in your future. But yeah, he was singing the same song I was singing, out on parole, needing a hand, not a hand up, but needing some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as to how I did it when I got out. And Mr. Gary, he was upset about his brothers and sisters not showing him any love. He had painted a portrait for a brother, and the fella said that he'll look at it when he's finished to see if he wanted to pay him, and the fella walked off. I mean, he took off. And Mr. Gary was so upset because he had spent 20 or 30 minutes on this portrait. And see how he does it, he'll look at you for like 5 minutes, and by that time he's got you in his system so he can go on and draw you. And while this was taking place, the fella and his daughter was walking around the park, and they took off. And I give this background because of my idea for today. And it is, we not only should speak this truth to our brothers and sisters, but we gotta live it. We can't talk about we coming into the knowledge of who our people are and that we need to get the word out. Just getting the word out ain't enough, which a lot of our mores and teachers have been speaking on of late. Just as I said in our prior recording that one of the mores was basically on the same subject I was on that day. And he was right, we was deadlocked on the same idea. And see, that's how the Ruach HaKodesh works. He'll lead us into all truth, all together now. But we can't just talk about it, we gotta walk it out. We gotta walk it out. And see, like I said, all the teachers and mores were speaking on yesterday that I was hearing, and I listened to like 3 of them. They're speaking on getting this knowledge of who our people are out. Simply because we got to change up the narrative. A lot of the narrative had been written by our actual, I hate to say enemies, but we might as well say enemies. The ones that enslaved us, our enslavers, and their actual ancestors, where their actual children are the ones that's trying to push the narrative now with this I forget the exact name of it. But the narrative that slavery was basically voluntarily, like the rapper says. Yeah, slavery wasn't so bad, and that we actually had a good thing going because we was able to gain a relationship with the Most High through meeting the pastors in church. Because if we didn't have slavery, we probably wouldn't have become Christians. And they're all saying we need to speak the truth. Don't be afraid to speak your truth or the truth. Don't be afraid to be a witness to the knowledge and the information the Most High is sharing with you or with all of us at one time. Because it says in the text that in the land of our captivities, we're going to cry out. And what the text actually says is, we will be in a land of captivity for, and then after 400 years, those nations will be judged. But see, they're not going to be judged unless we're crying out. Not only to the Most High, but see, the Most High has set it up in a way that he uses other nations to do his handiwork. And he'll do it himself, like he's already judging this nation with the weather, the economics. Every which way you can think of, this nation is being judged. The fires, the earthquakes, every which way but loose. You look around, you hear something every day. And you see these shootings. But all praises to the Most High, he's in control. We got to remember that he'll use other nations to do his handiwork for him. As the text says, those craftsmen that we spoke about in a prior recording, that's going to come at the end days and get on them, the nations, those four main nations that have enslaved our people, that have actually scattered us to all the nations of the world. And it was those four nations who sold us, and they came together in a confederacy and said, let's put an end to this name Israel. We're going to have them as habitual slaves or slaves forever. What we're going to do is hide the knowledge from them and of who they are. And then we're going to hide the fact of who they are, because we're going to steal their identity and their heritage. But as important as it is to get this knowledge out, which we must do it daily. We must be the example of what we're preaching. And I say that because of the lifestyles we're all coming out of, and that is church. The European Christian mentality, where it's okay to sin. You can't live a perfect life in the Most High. Basically, being holy as he is holy. You can't listen to the Ruach HaKodesh all day, every day, walking out his 10 commandments as he leads you and guides you into all truth. It's impossible. You can't be perfect. And that is a lie from the pit of hell, as folks used to say. And we got to come to the fact that we are the lights of the world. Not only in our speaking the truth and getting the truth out there, which we got to do, but also how we walk and carry ourselves daily, how we live. Because it's not going to make a bit of difference if you run in your mouth every day, like I said, like I am on these recordings, and doing my part in getting this word out as led by the Ruach HaKodesh, if I'm not living the life. And I give that example of my brother Gary, not to blow my own whistle, but in an effort to show an example of how we must walk and live. And to finish out that story I was telling about Mr. Gary, we went out to the park today. I said, I told him, you can't depend on brothers and sisters, which you think are brothers and sisters. And first of all family ain't family. And then all skin folk ain't kin folk, as I have heard Minister Tayu say from Tayu Ministries, or Minister Yakoba from Tayo Ministries. All skin folk ain't kin folk. See, that skin folk and them family members will have you locked up for life. And you talking about, I gotta represent the family. We need solidarity between our brothers and sisters. I learned that a long time ago. I say no, because when I was out there doing what he was doing, I was set up, by the own people I thought was my brothers and sisters. But you learn them lessons. Those are hard lessons. And after you learn them, you're able to walk in this truth a whole lot better, because you're learning to only depend on that discernment from the Most High through his Ruach HaKodesh. You saying, no, I'm not going to be a sucker no more. No more, I'm not going to be a sucker. And basically saying, I'm not going to fall for the okie doke in investing into you or investing into her, and I don't know who you're investing into. And that's a problem, because you could be looking at people as if they're the children of the Most High, and they're actually his enemies. Oh boy. I guess we better put some script on this thing today, huh? I think so. I had gotten excited about that testimony. Let me finish that. We went out to the park today, my wife and myself, and we told Mr. Gary I set up an appointment with him. You know, I was schooling him on how to do these things, you know, as far as being an entrepreneur. When you say you're going to do something, you got to do what you say, and you got to show up and on time. And like I was telling him this morning, we set up a time to come out today at noon. And I was telling him, I said, Mr. Gary, I'm glad you showed up. He said, I know, Mr. Rob, because you told me a lot of good things, and I remember those things. And I said, I'm going to come out and keep my word to Mr. Rob. I said, well, that's a good thing, but you're not keeping your word to me, you're keeping your word to yourself. And this is only the foundation of you doing this every day of your life. So he said that was his problem, not being consistent in his life, looking at these gals. I said, well, Gary, if you think about this, you invest in yourself, invest right now for a minute. You fresh out, don't think about them gals, because they're going to be coming to you. And you're going to be telling them, nah, sweetie, I ain't got time. I got my one main. I like that, one main street. I stay on that street, one main. I don't mess with them other streets. And like I told them, after a while, they're going to be looking at you with that money, that car, that house, and your steadfast energy, consistency. They're going to want to be a part of what you got going, if not for nothing else, for them things. You're going to be shooing them away like flies. He said, you're right, Mr. Robert. But he did our portrait today, and I told him I was going to come out, but I was going to turn right around if I ain't see you out there at 12 sharp. Just for the lesson matter. For the lesson. Because you got in business, you got to do what you say. And I've learned that myself. You got to show up, and not only show up on time, but be early and have yourself in the right mental state of mind to do what you promise you're going to do. So you have to turn off all them outside distractions when you're in business for yourself. You can't have mama and them, wifey and them, sister and brother and them, even other jobs on your mind. You got to stick right there. Okay, this is what I'm here to do, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And as I say in my bio, that's going to be enough. Because every time I apply my best, it's enough. It never fails because I have the experience, the know-how. All I need to do is walk it out. The know and the ledge. The know-how and then walking it out. But he was very happy. He was smiling like a chess cat. And he was like, I'm here, Mr. Robert, I'm here. Smiling like a chess cat, like I said. Excited that he saw me showing up. Because he wasn't sure that I was going to keep my word, but he knew by what the conversation we had And the words that I invested in him, the time I invested in him, and me giving him a small donation the last time for him out here working his craft, he knew to show up. But that's only, I'm sharing that because not for my sake, but for all our sakes, as far as this how we should be doing, investing into our brothers and sisters, not just talking about it. Because we can sit behind the camera all day, every day, but what are you doing out in these streets daily? And the text is 1 Corinthians 3 and 9. For we are laborers together with the Most High. You are the Most High's husbandry. You are the Most High's building. And husbandry means the care, cultivation, and breeding of crops or animals. And we can look at it in this way of our brothers and sisters. The care and cultivation and breeding of our brothers and sisters. Now you might say, well, Robert, why would you leave that word breeding in there? Because just as I was telling Mr. Gary, each one teach one. I help you, and see, my wife was there and she was able to help him also with some information from what she does daily, what she went to school for, and her connections in the neighborhood. And then we help him, and then he'll be able to go on and help somebody else. Not only physically, financially, but spiritually. See, what's going to be more important with Mr. Gary is he's going to have that testimony just like I have. And it's also the management and conservation of resources. That's husbandry. And that's important. Now, we can't jump over that too fast. Management and conservation of resources. Because just as the prayer we're reading, we're praying for the next few weeks, well, for the next 90 days that we're doing this fruit and veggie, raw fruit and veggie fast. This is the prayer we're praying. And that prayer says for substance. And we thank the Most High for substance. Not only for the substance, but the management of it and the conservation of it. Hallelujah. And building. And of course, we know building means a structure with a roof and walls, such as a house, school, store, or factory. However, in this case, what we're talking about today is the actual building process. However, we'll still use this word building as the example of the world, like we spoke on before, as the house. The earth being the house. And the meaning we're going for today is the process or business of constructing something. Construction. Erection. Establishment. And see, this is what we're speaking on today. For the Most High, we're his co-laborers. Together, it said, for we are co-laborers, for we are laborers together with the Most High. You are his husbandry, and you are his building. So we are the building. We're the ones that build, but it has to be a system. First, we get the knowledge of who we are as a people, then we build ourselves up. And it's going to take management. It's going to take folks that's going to manage the resources we're going to grab hold of and receive. See, just as I said in the prior recording, the Most High is taking us all to a whole new level. And as we see by all of us saying the same things at the same time, he's raising us all up together in him. Building the Most High's house. Or the building of a house. The building of the house. Praise the Most High. And of course, we'll throw one more script in there. If the Most High don't build a house, the laborers build in vain. Stay up and keep pushing forward in the right direction. Shalom, family. Hallelujah.